Hello, good people. How you doing?
Good evening, sir. Happy Wednesday. What's going on, Marcus?
Happy Wednesday. It is a Wednesday. It's no day for the day of From the Real Live with my boy Don, Mr. J.R. Lilly himself. What it do?
Sir, not much, sir. Did you have a good 4th of July
It
weekend?
was, man, my fourth was very educational.
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 Explain,
So
sir, how
on my 4th of
educational can
July,
be.
we actually went to the Civil Rights Museum over in Memphis area. And I learned
Mm-hmm.
some stuff.
What you learn, man? Share with the audience. Share with us, man. We black folk.
I'm not a curator, man.
Okay.
Black power, damn it. That's what I learned.
You just a librarian.
But no,
Yes,
it was
sir.
educational, and I appreciate. It's actually it was Kia who actually idea it was, and I appreciate that. It was very educational. It was like, damn, I need to get myself in check, on my Black history
Yeah.
and what needs to be learned and everything, and stuff that's forgotten and things that's not being taught,
Yes.
or how do you say the
That
little
part.
known Black history facts.
That part is not being taught. You have to go out. You actually have to go out and seek it. Props to Kim McLean for get you involved with that, sir. So I look forward to hearing more from you on that Black history, and perhaps you can educate me as well.
Anytime, man. I'll bring you up the. No, I'm not lying. I'll give you an address of the museum.
You go teach
That's
me
what I'll
damn
do.
stuff, right?
I ain't
Pack your sack lunch. You're gonna be there a while.
man.
Soda.
Man, do you remember how we had to go out? Used to do that. Your parents make you pack
Yeah,
a sack lunch.
yeah. You pack a sack lunch, soda, and chips. Should be hot as hell by the time. Sandwich
Man,
soggy.
we used to go. I mean, we used to go to Six Flags. I remember one time we
Yeah,
went to Six Flags. We had to go all the way out the damn place to go to the car to get them hot ass sandwiches.
yeah.
Hey, but now I got a job and making my own money. I see why we got them hot ass sandwiches. That shit is expensive.
With the end bread because you,
Mm.
you all other bread was used up. You gotta get
I
the
wait
end
a minute,
bread.
I was bougie.
The bologna, meat on
I was bougie. I ain't gonna lie.
it. All right, so let's dive into today's topic of the show, which is love control, mind manipulation for the sake of love. Hopefully, this show will bring you some insight as well as some clarity into this manipulation of the mind through the power of love. It's definitely can be used as a vehicle to drive a person to a certain concept of participation or even a affiliation to the person that they are devout to. So, with that being said, Marco, let's kick off today's show with the show's message. Welcome to Data from the Real, everyone. Data from the Real is where we empower Black couples and singles to be the best version of themselves as we delve deep into the complexities of the human mind and relationships. So with that being said, Marcus, give him that disclaimer, man. You know we always have to do that.
All right.
There you go.
All right. So these views and opinions are expressed in this podcast are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Date Affirm the Real.
That part.
Any content provided by our guests or hosts are their opinions and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.
Period. So appreciate that, Marcus, giving that disclaimer. So if you're scared, go to church. But happy Wednesday to you, Kia McLean. And let's get into the conversation, sir. Let's see what we can bring out here.
All right. So this concept was is one that you was touching on, Don,
Yeah.
and it kind of was inspired somewhat when we talked about it by that is a Netflix picture. I can't remember the name, where the guy, the person was disabled, and the woman fell in love with him, and she was manipulating him to like type out what she felt he was
Yeah.
saying. It was all a mind game,
Wow.
and I really invite everybody to go watch a Netflix special. Just I can't remember the name of it, but it was a good one. I caught the last half of it. I walked in, my fiance was watching it, and it was so good. I thought I was like, "Whoa, what is this?" I just sat down and just, oh, ah, whoa, for real, and it was like all that. So this is kind of what brought on a topic, and so if you think about it, how much mind control do you think is out there? Not into that extreme, but on that basis of manipulating the other person in the sake of love, or what they think of as love.
Yeah, you bring up a good point because from our previous show we did, givers and takers. Someone who's a taker is going to manipulate their powers or your love to benefit them. So if someone is mind manipulation, trying to control your personality, your interests, your ideas, your thoughts, only to benefit themselves. And that could be a dangerous game because love in itself is something that shouldn't be taken lightly. And then now you're manipulating that person's love for the sake of some benefit, or you're trying to finesse her out of some money, or him or her, or you trying to have him entrapped with kids so that he thinks he's going to love you because you have kids. Manipulation can take on many forms, but yet we're going to discuss those different forms of mind manipulation and how it can influence emotions, particularly love, and the ethical implications of such control. Because it's one thing you can't do. You can't control a human being. You can't control another person. But we've seen it tried so many times before.
All right. So my lovely fiance, has so graciously in the chat pulled up the title of the movie. Tell me, what is it? Tell them you love me. It's a title.
Wow. Tell them you love me. Wow. That's
Hey,
so that sounds like he's already P whip. I don't know if that's even love patrol.
yeah, but I'm gonna tell you what's so crazy. He put it in the Instagram chat.
Yeah.
Tell them that you love me, and I didn't realize she was talking about the title at the moment. I'm about to get on this live right now. I love my fiance Tia McClain. I'm
Go
about to
ahead,
tell her.
Marcus. Confess.
I thought she was telling me, make sure I tell them I love her.
Kid got that whip. Tell him now. You got that manipulation and control now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
control. No,
but I was reading it too. When I was reading it, she said, "Tell them you love me," and she got each letter capitalized. I was like, "Oh wow." Okay. Marcus making fries again without telling folks. All right,
this is how I read. Hold on, let me bring it up real quick. Uh-oh.
Tell them you love me. Wow. Yes, sir. That definitely can be read the wrong way, man.
Hold on, I got some stuff on my screen I can't get off. God dang it. Hit the wrong button laughing so hard.
Oh, shucks.
Oh well, I gotta work with it. Dang it.
All right. So let's continue on, beginning with the first segment of this discussion is the understanding of mind manipulation. And so if you can, Marcus, go ahead and throw up the definition of mind manipulation.
All right, hold on a second. Apparently that's covering my screen.
No,
hold on.
What you got up there, man?
Trying.
Twitter fingers been clicking on stuff, man.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, you said, "Tell them you love me." You go, oh, yes, ma'am. Yes,
I love you.
Cortez, yes, dear. Yes. They confessing. You got that man like he get a Catholic booth, man. You telling her.
Oh, there we go. I got rid of it. Okay, let me get that definition up. Yes, boy, sir. Here. And there we go.
All right, mind manipulation, the use of psychological tactics to influence an individual's thoughts, emotions, or behaviors. So, in the aspect of love control, a person is going to play with a person's emotions to get them to do what they want. So, if you think about the aspect when someone says, "If you love me, you would do this for me," and you plan on a person's emotions because they may not be the strongest person emotionally, and they may depend on another person for support, and therefore, when they lean on you, you take that as an event. A person can take that as an advantage, not you personally, but a person can take that as an advantage and manipulate that person's emotions to get them to buy them expensive jewelry or to get them to pay an outstanding bill or something outrageous that in normal terms don't even make sense. You feel
All
about that?
right. So, two things when I read that definition and based it on love or the concept of love or sake of love, two words came to mind:
Yeah.
gaslighting, which is one of the things that's get addressed on the Tuesday night lives,
Yes.
and the old fashioned word pimping.
Pimping.
Pimping is a form of mind control.
It is.
I mean, I ain't never been no pimp, but I've been around people who have pimpish ways, I should say.
Mm.
And even a lower level form of it is a form of mind control. It's a manipulation. You know, what is gaslighting? Making you doubt what you said. That's a
Yeah.
mind. That's a form of mind controlling.
Yes.
Pimping is a way of making you feel like you need the other person.
I've never been a pimp either. I'm just going to interject here. Pimping I agree with exactly what you said. However, let's dive into that concept a little bit deeper. They
All right, I'm
prey
with you.
on the weakest, emotionally unstable people. So if they're not going to the strongest woman on the block and be like, "Hey, BIT, do what I say." No, they get the ones that are weak, that need somebody. They're in their most vulnerable state, and they take advantage of that. That in its sake is selfish as a taker. But then when you're faking a relationship for the aspect of gaining their trust or their love, now you're controlling it by saying, "If you love me, you get out there and
Mm.
go to those corners." That in itself is lower than lowest denominator you can come up with, man. That's weak minded.
So I'm with you, and as I hear you, I'm being open minded about it, and I'm also thinking about the title, for the sake of love. So I could say pimping, but is it really the sake of love?
For the
Now,
sake
when
of
I
love.
when I say the love, not for the love of money, but the love of the person.
Okay, Bone Thugs and Harmony. All right. For the love of money. But
Yeah.
you check this out because if you might have read stories for the sake of love, I'm gonna get out there and do whatever my husband needs to get done for the sake of our marriage or our relationship. If that includes me hoeing on the street corner, I'm gonna go out there and do it. And then we may see it on the outside looking in and say, "Hey, he out there pimping his chick." But yet she, for the sake of love, is trying to hold on to something. Him, for the sake of control, is manipulating that to get what he wants. So it's never cut and slice or easy peasy. It's always going to be levels to that onion that's got to be peeled back to see the depths of it.
Ninja, did you say easy peasy?
Some shit I heard today at work, man. I'm just throwing out verbiage.
You're an author, a poet, and your verbiage is easy peasy.
I got a little laxations on the wordplay there, the wordsmith, man. I didn't have my wordsmith on
Hey,
my
bring it down to my level then. Okay, I'm with you. G's and Willikers. So I'm crazy. Rock with it.
there you go. But man, so yeah, just the mind manipulation that can be done for the sake of love can be very damaging when it's all done with a untruthful agenda.
Okay, so let's see what Babe's talking about here.
All right. She says when she worked for the federal court, there were more women going to jail for doing something for their men, smuggling, murder, and more. Wow. Uh,
Hmm.
is that just responding to the comment? Is that for the sake of love, or are they actually being mind controlled to the highest degree because trying to come across the border as a smuggling mule carrying drugs for someone who's that's kind of dicey, man.
But you know something? I can kind of rock. I can kind of think about it. Let's think about this.
Hmm.
If I have a choice, we say, okay, babe, we need this money. They're not. You're a woman. They're not gonna do nothing to you. They're not gonna check you. Get this. Let's get this smuggling across. We gotta survive. You
It's
know.
2024, dog. They checking everybody.
Well, we just saying, but but
Okay.
it's. I mean, first of all, you probably half ass done for trying this shit anyway. So
Well, yeah, I mean, because that's
yeah,
how people influence kids do things.
yeah.
Like, oh, you just a juvenile. They're not gonna hold you on charges against you. Kia McLean again says manipulating and mind people who care and love you is a real thing, and many do it for love or for attention. She meant mind control. So okay.
But yeah,
Manipulating and mind control who cares and love. Yeah.
so I'm see what you're coming from. I'm with it because one, love is not like you said, as a uniform slice at all anyway. And love is always going to be a perception of what it is.
Hmm.
So if I this is my, and love is also is set forth by examples.
Yeah.
And so if that's the example of that person using mind control, that's what he's seen or they seen, that's their form of love. I ain't saying it's the most proper way or most healthy way. Remember, a lot of love interpretation comes from examples, and like you have, after you have, a social circle.
Yeah.
It's love is how we perceive love and how we express love. So
Yeah.
if mind controlling or manipulation is how I see love, I'm gonna use that tactic.
I got
And
way
if I
better when you finish.
yeah,
Comment.
so if I'm brought up in this criminal lifestyle, and this is all we know, I love you, but yeah, this is what we do, baby. Come on, get get that shit across.
Get that money, right?
Yeah, but it's in
So
the name of love.
in the aspect of that, whether it's criminal, legal, you cutthroat way, however you're getting it, right? When people say they love someone, right? You may have been with someone 10 years and they say, I love that person. Then all of a sudden, they fall out of love. It could be through this person's repeated actions, repeated mistakes, repeated mind manipulation, repeated trying to pimp them to the point this person gets tired of being manipulated and they decide to move separate from this person. I guess my question is, how did that come about? Because 10 years ago you said you love this person to death, and all of a sudden now you're tired of his BS, or you're tired of her foolery, and you decide to cut bait and run. So is love something that's tempered on a certain outlook, or is it based on time frame where you feel like time has run out if you haven't accomplished something together? What do you think about that concept
So
of love?
I always, like I said on several episodes before, people evolve or may sometimes de-evolve,
Yeah,
and how they love and what they do for love often evolves with it.
yeah,
If so, 10 years down the line, if If they evolve differently from the person they with, yeah, very well. You may not be no longer the person. You're not the person for me anymore.
Yeah.
Or you put it simply in this in to keep in the realm of this manipulation. If the one that's being manipulated has growth, they'll it tends to start breaking down the manipulation.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
we just talked
And
about pimping. What's one of the biggest things that allow you to be manipulated or pimp is your self esteem.
yeah.
If that self esteem starts picking up and growing, you start realizing your worth,
Yes.
and all those things start or let alone what to me one of the biggest thing is maybe a child came about. Maybe now your parental instincts allow a certain protection that you cover your child with, now covers you
Yeah.
to protect you from this manipulation.
Yes. Now you talking,
So
man.
yeah, but
But
like Babe said, prostitution prostitutes get manipulated for sure. Yeah, they do. And let's even think about possible child prostitution. You know, those a lot of children are manipulated. You know,
or
maybe not for
worse.
the sake of love, but maybe for the sake of some kind of parental love. This is why our family unit is so important. That we must maintain a
Yes.
family structure.
Yes.
You know, a mother and a father, or a mother figure and a father figure,
Yes.
a positive
Positive
figure.
role model, something to look
Yeah,
up to that
that.
you can say, I want to be that as I get older.
Yeah. So, and
So we have a question that's been posed. It says, how do men find themselves manipulated? That's a good question. I think she hit that on the spot early, but I'm going to try to respond to that. I feel, for the sake of my personal experience, how I feel I've been manipulated, and when someone looks you in your eyes point blank and lied to, I'm going to tell a personal experience. Just follow up to the second question: have either you been manipulated? Yes, I didn't grow up in Dallas Fort Worth. I come from a small country ass town called fresh off a Negro's ass. But anyway, I moved to Dallas in '92. And when I graduated high school, tried to go to different colleges that didn't work out. So I came here for the sake of my mom wanted me to get a better outlook. So, met a lady after, fooling around trying to make my way through the city, make friends. And the first thing I learned that this city takes a country boy fast because you're not up on game. You got to learn it or you're going to get left behind or rolled over. So I feel like I was manipulated because I met this female after a couple of months of dating, about a year or so, we moved in together. And of course, we were young, 18, 19. So I was out there doing my thing. She was out there doing her thing. But the fact is, she brought it home. We was at home one day having a nice time chilling, and dude knocked on the door. I got up and went to answer the door. I'm like, who is this cat out here? No, I don't like people over like that. And so I opened the door and said, can I help you? And he asked for such and such. So I turned around and asked her, I say, do you know this cat? And she was like, I don't know him. I don't know him. Why is he coming over? But yet she went outside, shut the door behind her, and started talking to the cat. I'm like, what the hell going on? So I felt like I was manipulated for the sake of, now again, we both out there doing wrong, but I'd never brought anything home to that level. And I feel the manipulation come when I ask you point blank in your face, who is that? And you told some bold-faced lie, which in itself loses the lust of control because we're not control, the lust of love, because we say at that age, young tender age, we love each other, but then is it really love? Or are we just playing the game of deuces at a young age, trying to one up each other? That's the way I was looking at it at that time. But I did learn fast. So I had to pull up my boots and tie up my laces.
Okay. So, wow. So the first part was, do men get manipulated? Do men get manipulated? Yes. Men, one off the rip, men have self esteem issues as well. Even though a lot of them try and mask it, or
Yeah.
have um. So yeah, that's the first one. Then, how do we get manipulated? When you think you're dating somebody, or you feel you're somebody who think is out of your league, start showing you attention. When you're a 3 and she a 10,
Mm.
but your pockets are 12.
Mm. Is that manipulation from the man's aspect? Because we got egos, man.
But yeah, but if she know your pockets are 12, you a 3 and she a 10, with a arrogant 10, I should say, or a cocky 10, or
Yeah,
I'm way above your 3. That will just give me a possible example how I think a man can be manipulated.
you're so correct on that. You
You
can
know,
be, uh, you can be
you get
definitely.
this if you love me.
There you go.
You take me here if you love me.
Yeah,
This is how you show. This is how you show you love.
yeah.
Our love language is gifts. How many gifts have you given me?
Or not the gift; it's the cost of the gift. That's the most important aspect because you can give
It's
someone a gift, right? It can
it's
be
manipulation.
the manipulation of it. There you
It's
go.
manipulating. We ain't talking about no rinky dink. It's manipulation.
Yeah.
Um, as for me, yeah, I probably blocked out a lot of this shit because I'm a nice guy. I grew up with a nice guy. I grew up. I'm a heavy set. I'm a heavy set guy. I've always been fluffy, chunky, and sexy. Um, so it bested my self esteem, and I know I've been gaslit. This is not what you think, or yeah. So yeah, I've been manipulated. But like you said, I got over it. I don't say kind of, no, I got over it. But because I was able to get over it, not instantaneously, of course. And I also had guys who try to, put you in line. Come on, man, you stop playing the fool, or
Yeah.
this and that. And don't get me wrong, and I did multiple occasions, more than I care to tell, trying to overdo it. But I'm the fortunate survivor. I'm in a healthy relationship with somebody who's not a manipulator.
That's great, man.
You
That's
know,
what we all strive to be
yeah. So
on in life.
matter of fact, she said when manipulation can turn very dangerous, referring to your story.
It can.
And,
Because
and,
if I was just a hothead
exactly,
to my house, it could have popped off.
and
Could have popped
and the
off.
best one, and one to me, one of the strongest forms of mind control is sex.
Yes, it is
Sex is,
used.
the power of sex or lust. To me, it's a form of manipulation. We have like gaslight, hypnosis, was neuro, what some of
Neuro
those,
linguistic programming. That's
yeah,
kind of like you're going deep into the psyche and having a person,
but
put
then
in
lust would probably be
some
under your
hypnosis
emotion.
or something.
Oh no, I'm saying lust might fall under your emotional manipulation.
It is. It is definitely.
No, because the lust is such a animalistic thing that
We
and it
want
may
what we
it may
can't
not be
have.
pure. Say what?
We want what we can't have. So therefore, that person
Yeah,
knows that, and now they're mind manipulating you. Oh, you want this? You ever want this? You're gonna have to, do things or bow to my means or whatever it may be.
yeah. Especially if you're doing that freaky shit. You ain't never had it done, and she doing it now. You what?
Man, it blows
You
my mind.
you getting 2 jobs and pay and babysitting her kids.
You
What?
put me like put your mom on the phone. I ain't never coming home.
What?
Sunshine, be that sunshine. You with that sunshine, boy. You be like, ooh-wee. But we're gonna continue on this love control, not mind manipulation, because the second segment of it is the psychology of love, and there is a science behind the way a person loves, and this is based on chemical reactions in the brain involving dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. That time I said it right, oxytocin, not oxycontin, fentanyl, all that shit. But yeah, so this is how emotions can be influenced. The role of the environment, as we said before, social interaction and psychological conditioning. If you're born or raised into a broken home, you can be emotionally damaged and therefore easily manipulated by someone who is a little bit more advanced and in the terms of scheming. Like again, we talked previously about a pimp. He's looking for that one aspect of emotional weakness, and he's going to prey up on it as a taker. Sad to say, we see it all the time. That's one of the aspects of the psychology behind it. And if you think about growing up in the projects, not saying that there's a limitation, but that you're already behind the 8 ball. So you think about someone who's grown up in a stable home, mom and pops, brothers and sisters, everything seems to be good on the outside, but even that could be a detriment on the inside. It's never, again, a perfect scenario, but the way you are raised can put you 10 steps back behind someone who has a better situation out the gate.
Yeah, you're right. Let's go back to what we were saying earlier about the family structure. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
we all your science, your dopamines and oxytocin. Shit,
Oxytocin. Say Oxycontin, man. Go ahead and say
I can't say oxytocin. You might get kicked off the air. The
oxytocin,
oxytocins
man.
and the serotonins, these natural things.
Yeah.
It's a natural pursuit that you want to experience those.
Hmm.
You know, and what triggers those.
Hmm.
And the way I'm thinking about it is, if those social and family circles are in place, it's triggered differently. It's
Yes.
this if it's the different stimuli that would trigger it. I'm not a psychologist or a scientist. I'm
Hey,
just
but you're
thinking.
hitting on a point, man. You're hitting on a perfect point because if you have siblings, as you're stating, in a perfect scenario, mother, husband, balance, you get 3 meals a day, you get the attention, you get schools, you get playtime, compared to someone who mom is on welfare or dad smoking crack. It's just not a good outlook, even though you can strive above, a rose grow through concrete, but man, it's gonna be hell come high water trying to get up out of there, man. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Um, it has been done. I know. I don't. Everybody can't. I'm not gonna say everybody can do it. And I thankful for my family structure. I ain't have to be that rose in that concrete.
Yeah.
I had no soil. So when these, so with these the different stimuli that's I needed are not. It is I can find it in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Um, even my social circle is a healthy way.
Yes. Good soil.
Good soil, right on. And fortunately, good soil typically gets passed down. 7 times out of 10 is gonna get passed down. 8 times out of 10 is gonna
Indeed.
get passed down.
Indeed.
You
Indeed.
know, and when now the dangerous side of that rose in that concrete, when you bust through that rose, bust through that concrete. Unfortunately, you got as they grow, they still got some of that rubble.
Oh yeah.
We like to say rough edges
Still
because
got
of how they
thorns.
grow.
You still got those thorns, man. Even
Yeah,
as you grow to a beautiful flower, a rose bush has thorns. So it just conception of what they've been through. So you have to handle that very carefully. Again, in the concept of wordsmithing, a rose is beautiful. It still has thorns to remind you of the rough times and where it comes from. So you got to take that delicately. And we got a comment. Kia says she still has those thorns. Yes, you can never get rid of those. Those things will. It actually what makes you is what molds you is what makes you a better person. As Marcus indicates, he had a social circle that allowed him to grow beyond what his environment may have limited him to. So if you think about the bond you make with friends, you decide not to run with a bad crowd and run with those who want to make something of themselves beyond just running the hood or hanging out on the street corner late at night. Can't hear you, Marcus. Microphone turn off or something. He's doing a mic check 1 2 over there. But yeah, if you think about real life examples of how we have been manipulated, I gave you a real life example earlier. And through those tactics, you're back, sir. You're back live. I can hear you.
All right. So I was saying, my bad. So I was telling you about the thorns.
Yeah.
You know, two things came to mind. Thorns have a purpose, but Mother Nature don't make mistakes like that.
Exactly.
So you can't have you can't have a rose or a thorn. Two, every picture of a rose always shows the thorn. The prettiest picture of a rose has thorns.
Yes.
And take that for what it is. If
Yeah, lost you again, sir. Lost you again. I don't know if the mic is charged up, but he's indicating a picture of a rose and its thorn is an example of how I'm not sure exactly how he's trying to express it, but I'm gonna give you my version of it. A rose with its thorns is an example of how rough tough it is to rise above the occasion. The concept or the outcome is a beautiful flower, and we love roses. You get a dozen of them probably on Valentine's Day, your birthday, but yet those thorns are still there. So if you don't pursue them wisely, you can definitely get pricked. If you take them lightly, you can definitely get stabbed on your finger or your thumb. So you definitely have to make sure you respect the rose in all its beauty, as well as the detriment that it has been through to get to that point. And thank you, Kia, for realizing technical difficulties can't stop this great message. I do agree. Because this is all about love control and mind manipulation. We may have all experienced it once in our life. May have experienced it through a bad relationship. You may have experienced it through passing of a friend who you thought you were in love with, or friends say pertaining to someone of the opposite sex, or you may thought you were in love with, and therefore they were not in love with you. They just only wanted to manipulate you in a way to allow them to gain benefits on your dime. And that's is definitely a hard pill to swallow once you learn that. You back, sir? 1 2.
all right, 1 2 1 2. Let's try it
We
out.
got you. We got you live and direct, sir. We got
All
you
right,
live and
so
direct.
we're gonna work this out. Like
Yes,
I
sir.
said, I heard you, babe. You can't the technical difficulties can't stop the great message. All right, I know. Appreciate you.
Back the
You hit the
road.
thorn. You hit the thorn right on the rose. Appreciate it.
There you go.
All right. So where we got going on? Let's
We dive
continue
into
on.
ethical considerations, segment number 3, sir. That's where we at now in the conversation. So we're talking about the morality of manipulating emotions. We're going to discuss consent, autonomy, and the potential harm of mind control. So I don't think there's ever any consent given for someone to control your mind. That, however, people can take their consent into their own hands and use it to their advantage. Autonomy basically is the right for a person to self-govern themselves and in the mind we discussed earlier of pimping, sometimes the right to self-govern yourself, you're giving it to a person to make all the decisions, all the things that's going to happen to you without you even getting any input, which is not correct. But if you think about getting that self-confidence, you grow beyond what the situation allows to the point that you feel that you no longer need to be in that situation, and you try to find it out as quickly as possible in regards to that aspect.
Yeah. So I'm with you. You want to, you try to protect yourself, and harm is not always. Is harm is not that's not physical. It's
Yes,
mental.
yes,
You know, and then I'm not. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but I'm just saying that harm would be mental. How many times you say hey, you come home, you say I just been like I've been beat up, and that's a low scale harm compared to somebody who's being manipulated through some form of mind control.
yeah,
You know that, and when they start realizing that they're being manipulated, that's when the harm comes in because
indeed.
it's a mental prison that mind control is. What it is a mental prison. You can't escape that box. Even though you may not realize it's a box because at one point in time you're being controlled. But when you're starting to see, hell, just look at our life. Just look at our lives now, as we start opening our eyes into our own our own political things going around.
Yeah.
You know,
So
the
beat down
thing,
every day.
right? We're being not for the sake of love, but we're being manipulated by the television, by our public schools,
The message.
exactly. So we're waking now as we are becoming aware of this. It's taking a toll. That like, what can I do? Why? How? What? Like, how can I fight this? You know, this. So if that thing now. Sorry, we make manipulation on a love scale, and you're coming out of it. You've been so manipulated and dependent on this type of thinking. It's like it's it's harmful. It's like it hurts. Like, well, how can I get out of this?
Let's even narrow it down a little bit because I think we kind of went to the extreme with the mind manipulation, talking about the pimping, and just the negative connotation. Just think, for instance, you're in a relationship with a person and you're living together. You're not even married. You're living together. You're dating, and one person feels like they're growing beyond the relationship that the other person or what the other person can give them. So usually in modern times, when you're in a relationship, you're splitting bills, you're splitting costs, and here comes the mind control part or the mind manipulation part. Because one person could say, "You're gonna leave me with all these bills. You're gonna leave me like this after all we've been through." Now the other person is not strong enough. They're gonna sit there and be like, "Man, I can't just leave he or she out like that. I gotta stay here to try to help, right? Even though there ain't no love there. The love has died. You've grown beyond that. You're ready to move on to some other aspect of your life that you could reach another plane. Yet this person can hold you back through that mind manipulation by preying on some of the weakness that you could be a provider, therefore manipulating you to always wanting to provide and not feel like you're leaving someone dry. What do you think about that, sir?
You're right, and I agree. I wholeheartedly think about it what you just said, but I was focused. I kind of dipped off because I focused on what Kia said,
Yeah.
and I had thought about that point earlier today. And it says made me think about a situation that I didn't think was manipulative, but well, shit, here we go. Made
What
me
you
think
said,
about a situation that I didn't think. I was manipulative, but what you said makes me think differently. So this is I thought about this. When you don't realize you're the manipulator, that's an important part because you don't know that you're manipulating somebody.
Yeah.
And that's so is it wrong?
That's a good point. Is it wrong? Or is it just a misunderstanding?
Now, misunderstanding is that hey man, I stepped on your shoes.
So, but is okay, is it wrong?
I mean, so yeah, it's I would say it's wrong, but when you like a child, if they don't know better, you teach or you have to
Each.
teach or unfortunately have to punish. So somebody who's being knowing manipulative, they have to be shown, but they got to be willing to realize it. But can I really punish a person who didn't know is being manipulative? Now, once it's being pointed out, it's a whole different story. You got to give
Again,
it.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Is it
No,
being manipulative or is it being p whipped? Because I'm just thinking here about the aspect of what I've seen, not from my aspect, but from other family members in life when their wife said, "You better be home by 9 o'clock, or you ain't getting in this house," and it's 7:59. You like, man, I gotta. We had a party, or whatever, just having a nice time with the fellas, and I gotta leave early. And the wife said, I gotta be in the house. That mind
no,
manipulating, or is that just controlling
no. So
somebody?
I can't ride with you. That you been talking about being handpicked compared to being manipulated. Damn it, we gonna pick a better
Whip.
subject next time with less syllable words. But anyway,
Yeah,
but if you know, it's easy. It's almost as easy to do, but it can be happen. You know, you're because when you're willing to, especially when both sides or the one side is willing to do the work to make it better, it can be easily shaped. That person can be easily
yeah,
shaped because they're doing the work to
yeah,
because they love that person and they doing the work. They want to do what it takes, and sometimes you could lose yourself and can be easily manipulated.
yeah,
You know, and it's not being about it ain't about the P or what I'm saying because at a certain point in time, a lot of guys we gonna say or a lot of people we don't had to say there are a lot of people that got a lot of people that had a lot of that sex and when you get to a certain age, a certain aspect, sex is secondary when you're looking for that person. It's still mandatory, but it can be secondary. You're looking for those serotonins and the other natural highs, not necessarily
yes,
from the animal lust, but from the emotional attachment. So that emotional attachment leads to a vulnerability, and a man when a man is vulnerable to a person or a woman, that is their weakest state, and for them to open up to her or their partner, it can be easily be manipulated if they may not know how to. They may not, like I said, they may not know they're being manipulated, or the person may not be who's doing the manipulating may not know they're doing it.
yeah,
So, and this is where the growth comes in,
hmm,
and that would be the growth on both parts. So in this case, Babe was talking about she didn't realize she was manipulating, but the growth came in and realized okay, whoa, I see what I'm. This is what I'm doing. Let me pause and check myself.
yeah.
And if it was about the pee, she damn sure. What she gonna start giving it to that person?
You bring up a good point there about the growth, because that brings it to our next segment, which is protecting yourself from manipulation. So we're going to continue that conversation about the growth of it, because you have to first be able to recognize the sign and identify that if you are being manipulated, or even if you are the manipulator, and if you are able to do that, you're able to self-consciously check yourself, or have a conversation with the person and just ask them about their taxes or their actions, to see if there was any ill intent behind it, or just like misunderstanding that could be clarified, so that the two can grow together, if there is any growth within the two. Because you also have to build strategies for self-defense, because you always have to protect self, even in the concept of a relationship, because someone is using that relationship to manipulate you. You have to be conscious enough to build an emotional resilience, to you're able to seek support, and then educate yourself to how to get out of it. Because we talk about things, the concept, a person can recognize something, but it's not always easy to get out of it, because a person could physically be domineering to prevent you from leaving. And if you're using emotional intelligence with that, a person could feel closed in within their own four walls. That definitely building the resilience, then now seeking the support so to help you get out of it. That's also a bigger factor, if you want to be protected from manipulation. When you think
Yeah.
about the aspects of a pimp, right? The person who's being pimped needs to get out of that situation. They need the support, because them by themselves may not be able to do it. They just may not have the physical detriment to get away from that. And they need other
Right.
people.
Yeah. So I like where you're going with this, and it's the how you're protecting yourself. And when I read your notes about when topics of protecting yourself, three things came to mind. So, which this is data from the real. So one thing we came to mind was surrounding yourself with a positivity or a positive light.
Yes.
You know, who you are and who around is a form of recognizing and protecting. Two, the another thing that came to mind was self love. If you have self love, that is a strong barrier.
Yeah.
We just talked about earlier. We said low self esteem, but that self love will carry you around, will carry your whole thing. I just talked about being having a self esteem issue because of my weight. But if I had more self love, I'll tuck my shirt in, had a big belly, and be just be extra sexy.
With the fourth member of the Fat Boys, man, you putting it down.
Anyway, and the third thing, and that's one of the things we often talk about on this channel, them red flags.
Yeah.
Educate yourself on red flags,
Yes.
and also subscribe to the podcast. They're the friend of real
Indeed. YouTube, Instagram,
and TikTok.
Facebook, TikTok, all the major four platforms. Yeah, because you think about, I think we may have to do a show on it in another way, but educate yourself on the red flags. We see them constantly. You see them every day. You see them from the time you meet somebody across the street. And we wonder, why is that person talking to their food?
Hmm.
You see it, though. You see it.
Man,
Is it the red flag? Is it just like more gravitating? Because I'm thinking from the aspect of a young teenage boy, when all the high school girls like the guy who act the fool, drive his car fast. He may have been a thug, doing all the things that are not gonna get you far in life, right? You're like, what? Why is she talking to him?
man, I know
Yeah.
what you're saying. But like you said, education on the red flags,
Yeah,
or we're not looking for is our evolution as a person.
yeah.
When we're looking for the now, or instead looking for what's to come.
I think you got a point. Because you
Hey,
think about a person needs to be around someone. We as humans, we need to interact. So that can weigh heavy on trying to find a mate when you can be 15 years ain't found a mate, and then next thing you know, you get with the wrong person because you felt some type of way one right, and then that could be red flag city. Like, why would you do that after 15 years of waiting for the right person? You just picked the first one that came along, and worse off
yeah.
than you just stayed alone.
So just check this out. I just it just hit me. Let's take them ladies you talking about in high school, and let's fast forward in their life to they're 45 and
Yeah.
single. Stay with me now. Stay with
I'm
me.
with you. I'm with
And we transport they mind of that 45-year-old and place it back in their 18-year-old body, 18, 20-year-old body. Let's say 18, 19, 20-year-old body.
you. Yeah.
And you give them two options of a mate. All right, babe, this ain't for you to answer.
He's
You give
already
them,
confessed his love.
yeah. And you said your two choices for the rest of your life. What is Tupac or Brian McKnight? Who would they choose? With a 45-year-old mindset in a 20-year-old body.
Mm,
When I say 20-year-old, and then if you translated them put back in time to their 20-year-old self,
yeah.
would they?
Yeah. I can't answer that for them, man.
But you see
But
what I'm saying?
I see where you're going. I see where you're going with it. That is definitely a decision they have to consider uh, in that aspect of making choices, in their life. 'Cause
Yeah.
this right here. What up, guys? Late to the convo, but coming from the perspective of dealing with DV victims, domestic violence victims, education is big with those who are being manipulated. I find that a lot of people just don't know. That point there. Thanks, One Love, who's coming in here. We appreciate that because that aspect of the person seeking the support and then the knowledge that we talked about earlier, he's saying he or she is saying here that they just don't know. And somebody's screaming Tupac. I thought you think you just lost out, Marcus. So you
I
gotta
knew that. First
back
of all, I
at
already
one
knew.
with Brian McKnight, better keep singing, sir, because Tupac is
Whatever,
winning.
whatever,
I like
whatever.
Brian McKnight though. I got all his albums, man.
Yeah. Tupac ain't never been on no McDonald's commercial. Damn it.
Yeah, but again, to One Love's comment here, a lot of people don't know, and you was like, how grown people? How do they not know? How do they not know? Is they not surrounding themselves around the knowledge to gain that information,
Mhm.
or is they're limited to their environment to the point they can't even get access to the information? Because you think about how society, again, we talk about impoverished communities. A lot of those places don't have uh, libraries where you can go get the information that's written on history concepts or just history or just any knowledge. If you don't hear it on IG, if you don't hear it on TikTok, a lot of people don't believe that it even exists. But there's a lot of things that are written, and if you can't get access to it, how are you going to know?
Yeah. And I'm just thinking about that domestic violence, and I'm thinking about these victims, and they stay, but that's a form of manipulation
Yeah,
through violence and verbal abuse, and I can't, and I don't want to sit. I'm not going to sit here and judge them about why you stay. No, because I can't say if I was ever in that place how I would react or do.
Yeah.
And this is why I think it's so much necessary that we surround ourselves with positivity. Your circle, be selective, and I learned this from Kia. You got to be very selective who's in your circle, who you call friend, who you listen to, and who you confide in. You know, and unfortunately, violence, domestic violence, is often if I'm not mistaken, is often a cycle. We are there's the people who see this growing up. They say, "I'll never do this," and often do it. We need the education of like, "Hey, this is not right," and this is the consequences and the downfall of when you beating somebody or being beaten. I don't, you know, the mental toll on yourself of violence of be going. What's matter of fact? Quit the best answer. Best way to put this: when you go home, what's the first thing you want? What's the main thing you want when you go home? What's the main thing you want when you get your tail home?
Are you asking me or just
Yeah,
asking
but asking you, what's the main thing you want at your house?
peace and quiet?
Exactly, peace. How can I have peace when I'm getting my ass tore up when I go home?
I want to piggyback on that comment, but I want to present it to One Love or anyone out there that's listening. We discussed earlier about the red flags, right?
Okay.
And relating this to a domestic violence victim. Do they see the red flags in the beginning, or does a person through mind manipulation or love control over time change and now they are no longer the nice guy that they or nice person that they presented themselves for in the beginning? Because he has a question he said or a comment he said it's the lack of nurture or the type of nurture that nurturing isn't deliberately negative. People teach what they know, right or wrong. I do agree with that because if you think about the aspect of spanking your kids, we get that from a slave mentality. So right or wrong, we're teaching our kids that and then passing it down to their kids. And as we get older, we see that that's not always a good form of discipline. But back to the original question for a domestic violence victim, do they see the red flags in the beginning, or does a person through mind manipulation or love control change over time to the point that now this person feel like there is no way out because they may not have known because the person is using mind manipulation on them? What do you think about that, sir?
Oh, so yeah, let's think about it. One, we got some red flags we got to be taught. So if you're not taught the red flags, or two, you have to learn to trust instincts. Three, it might some of your qualities. I'm not saying your qualities. Some of your characteristics that you are, or that's often great about you, can be a consequence to you, such as loyalty.
Yeah,
I'm loyal to you. So if you touch me and tap on my head, I'm being loyal.
you're
Like
not
people
gonna
often say,
leave.
often loyal to a fault. You're willing to try to look past that incident,
Yeah,
which might end up turning into more than one incident because it's in that person to do it again. One
and
level.
he comes back with another comment. He says some do see it, but they think they can change the individual. Some have room to see the behavior as normal by the manipulator. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. That's bullseye right there.
Yeah,
Mind
yeah,
manipulation.
yeah. And that change. You
Yeah,
think you could change somebody?
I can change him. Just give it a little more time. He don't usually act like that. I upsetted him, right? His food wasn't hot enough, right? I left tobacco sauce off the steak or something. Well, I don't know.
Or
Around slapping people. I don't know.
I need to show him some love. He won't do that. I need to show him that there's other ways of doing this. But people don't. Oh, here go the flags again. You only change for who you want to change for, and it ain't a guaranteed change. We do a lesson on that episode about change.
Yeah, yeah. This is definitely key points that we discussed in a previous episode, as well as in this episode. So we appreciate the comments that are coming in because we got to understand and influence the people in a positive way that's in our life. You got to get you a circle, a support system, right? And sometimes even with that, you learn through trial and error who your real friends are. You can have someone who can be your friend for 10 years and do a mishap or a miscommunication or one situation, and that person is no longer your friend. But then you can also gain someone just from a complete stranger. So you got to get your support circle and the support system. So when you need that, you can lean on that. And you can reach out and ask for advice, ask for assistance, ask for help. Hopefully, it won't get to the level of domestic violence because again, we want to preach positivity here, and
Yeah,
not too much negativity. Even though we understand the concept of it, and if it is happening, the positivity is what we need to utilize to overcome that. And hopefully, someone listening to this is experiencing something like this. Seek support because we definitely want that to be the way as a positive outlet.
yes, for finding support, um, because we want at Data Friend of Real, we want you to experience positive love, healthy love, and and not just saying love from of a partner, but the love of yourself. How you treat yourself, how you love yourself, and how you love others. When you do it in a healthy way, it's such a magical thing. You know, we often when we started Data Front of Real, it was like, go date yourself, take yourself on a date. I hell, I'm in a full blown about to be a married relationship, and I still going to date with myself.
The Mary making himself fries and don't be sharing them. That's how he dated himself.
Don't get me jacked up. Don't get me. You better leave them fries where you. Man, Don, leave me alone. Don't get a crick about no damn fry. FYI, everybody,
He
one of my
dated
baby's
himself
favorite
though, so yeah.
one of my baby's favorite food is fries. If I come home with fries and I bring her some, it's gonna be hell to pay in my house. Or if I'm going somewhere that got some good fries and I don't call and say, baby, you want some fries? It's gonna it's gonna be hell to pay in a healthy way in my house.
He said it a healthy way.
In a healthy way. Cause she ain't gonna put no hands on me. Boy, but when she get that look, that's a mind control.
That look alone, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we do indeed appreciate One Love's input because was some deep conversation that we've been talking about, and then we take it to the level of domestic violence. That's even deeper level of understanding what's going on. It's beyond mind manipulation. Now we're talking about a person's safety. Yeah, so appreciate those comments.
Yeah. Hey, what love, I like to say, I echo everything Don says. I I would love for you keep coming back and join us on our Tuesday and Wednesday night episodes. I love it. I love the educational aspect and thoughts, especially on the domestic violence that needs to be addressed. And I'm proud that you was here bringing that to light for us. Thank you.
Yes, we appreciate our listeners sharing their thoughts and experiences, and we also would like for you to continue to share those thoughts and experiences on social media using the hashtag date affirm the real. You can do that on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, Twitter. I don't know if we got Twitter set up. Oh,
No, my fingers don't Twitter.
no Twitter figure.
I ain't got no
Yes,
Twitter
please
fingers.
continue sharing your thoughts. We encourage the listeners to subscribe, rate, review the podcast, and on their favorite platform. And we also like you to listen in 2 weeks to the next episode. I'm gonna give you a teaser on it, but we're gonna make it work. It's titled "To Be or Not to Be." That is the marriage. So that's gonna be a great show. We would like for people to tune in because we're going to get on the concept of marriage and is it just a facade or is it actually true love? So stay tuned for that show. It's going to be hot button topic. Hopefully, Marcus will have the technical difficulties worked out by then. We can get the man to stop
I'll be back.
fading.
Hey, I'll be back in my home studio then. We'll have less problems then.
Yeah.
So, and with that being said, I just go check out Junior Lilly on his IG page and his website. It's scrolling at the bottom. Also, like I said, Dre Friend of Real. Go check us out. Please share, subscribe. You know, we need you to help keep this thing growing, keep it moving, keep the positivity growing. We're not here really trying to talk about mess.
No, we're not missing.
Mm.
We're just
No, we're not.
sharing aspects of personal lives that have happened or situations that may tie into the topic of the show.
Right. So, with that being said, Don and I'll be back in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Join us next Tuesday. Data Friend of Real. Join Data Friend next Tuesday with the poet and the therapist segment. Next Tuesday. TikTok. I'm putting more things on TikTok. Subscribe to that. Subscribe to the YouTube and follow the IG. But make sure but most of all, you can tune in. Oh yeah, we'll in all podcast platforms. So if you
There
can
you go.
ride, you can ride and listen to us.
There you go.
And with that being said, I'm Marcus,
And I am Junior Lilly.
and we're about to be out. See
Peace.
y'all next time.
Take care.